Lawmakers have submitted more than 2,000 new pieces of legislation for the upcoming session.
And one of those bills would give all students a voucher to help offset the cost of a private school education. As you can imagine, already facing a lot of scrutiny. News 9's Augusta McDonald is live from the Capitol with this story. Augusta?
Amanda, Carl, rural public schools advocates say the new law would be devastating to schools in Oklahoma's rural counties, many of which don't have a private school option. Advocates say they're planning to fight this measure in the legislature.
We're in the middle of a pandemic. We're in the middle of a teacher crisis. And now they're talking about diverting literally hundreds of millions of dollars out of public school classrooms. And that's not okay.
Private schools currently do not have access to state aid money. Senate Bill 1647 would change that. As the proposed law is currently written, the $8,000 of per pupil state aid money that public schools receive from the state would follow the student to a private school upon transfer. What's more, there's already about 34,000 private school students in Oklahoma. If the law passes, roughly $300 million of state aid money would be diverted from public schools to private schools.
So you have less money left over for all the programs that those of us in rural areas want to have to maintain a quality education for our kids. Obviously, academics are important, teachers.
Batiste Public Schools Superintendent Tommy Turner says the measure would create a drain on their resources in an area where it's not likely to ever have a private education option.
In our area here, because of geography, it simply does not make sense, financial sense, for private schools to operate here. If it did, they would already be here. So even with the vouchers, it doesn't make sense because our funding is not made up of strictly state aid.
On February 21st, the Oklahoma Rural Schools Coalition will host a Rural Schools Day in the Capitol Rotunda during the legislature. Governor Kevin Stitt declared next week School Choice Week. Live at the Capitol, Augusta McDonald, Oklahoma's own News 9.